my favorite songs are slow and sad. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Welcome to the Sad Song Queens podcast, where we dive deep into the songs that make us cry. I'm Laura Webb.
And I'm Lindsay Wolfington. Today, we're talking with Joy Oladokun about her song, Charleston.
Hailed by Rolling Stone as Nashville's most low-key music revolutionary, Joy is a proud queer Black woman and daughter of Nigerian immigrants. She has now released 5 studio albums. Her most recent album blended her pop, folk roots with electronic and psychedelic elements. Widely respected by her peers, Oladokun has collaborated with artists such as Chris Stapleton, Brandi Carlile, and Noah Kahan.
Joy's music has resonated across diverse platforms, from documentaries to popular TV series like And Just Like That, American Idol, and Grey's Anatomy. Her song, I See America, was a finalist for the Recording Academy's Special Merit Award for Best Song for Social Change. Today, we are throwing it back to Joy's first album, Carrie, to a gorgeous song called Charleston.
So grab those tissues and let's get into it, because we all need a good cry. And now, Charleston by Joy Oladokun.
What do you think heaven's like? I think it's a garden. I think it's your arms. And I think it's my beating heart. If you don't mind me asking, who do you think God is? Do you think he was born to spite both the wicked and the righteous? Well, I think he's good. Did you hear the church bells ring? 9 rang out in Charleston. His blood rained on the pulpit. The widows gave up their offerings. The poor and the prophet sang hymns of their sorrow. They're tired of being forgotten, and I'm tired of watching. No, I won't look on. The cities are burning down. All I've got is a song, and so I'll sing it out just to help the world. Where is our humanity? Have we lost our capacity to see that every breath we're breathing is a thread in a tapestry that winds into eternity, where we'll stand as a family, and our bodies so heavenly, sisters and brothers. So I won't look on. The cities are burning down. All I've got is a song, and so I'll sing it out. No, I won't stand by. The cities are burning down. I've got is this life. And so I'm gonna live it loud. Oh, oh, oh. No, I won't stand by. Oh, 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 oh. No, I won't stand by. Oh, 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 no, I won't stand by. Oh, no, I won't stand by.
Welcome, Joy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so beautiful. So for the listeners, we listen to the song before we start, so we're all in our feels over this beautiful song.
Yeah, and I am having a moment over here. Sometimes I think like life is so busy, then like when I'm being asked to just sit here and listen to a song and absorb it, like I'm really feeling it.
Yeah.
I honestly think I was having a similar moment. I very famously don't listen to my music.
I imagine you're not alone there.
Yeah.
I like my sort of like ritual is the day something is released, I'll listen to it in its entirety one time and then never again. So that is probably the first time I've heard it since the day it came out.
Really?
Which is like almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago?
It's an album that I wrote by myself in my apartment in Hollywood where I was living at the time.
Oh, wow.
And then I hired a band to come and just like put music over like 3 days at a studio in Echo Park. And I think just like hearing it back, I go like 10 years ago, I don't know that very much about my message or my heart or my mind has changed. And I think that I find that really beautiful. Like even though I like feel like I sound younger or different or I would use my voice differently or I would do a different guitar tone at the end, like all the things that I would maybe reflect on. I joke a lot at the show when I'm playing shows that like, I love you guys. That's why I got out of bed and like showed up to do this today. And I think that it is like that line about like, all I have is a song. And so I'm going to sing it. That's how I feel. And I think emotionally and personally, professionally, I've been going through some stuff. So to hear that back and to like be like, that's exactly how I feel still is really cool.
Yeah.
Like the hope of it, because like sometimes, you feel so hopeless and that you're like, and what you as one person, what can you do to like...
Laura, you're going to get me now.
I know, I'm sorry.
What is happening?
I know.
that day.
It's like a rainy Friday.
Yeah, it's a rainy day. Well, going into, I was going to say, I will tell you what I think my theory is on this. I think it's about the shootings at the Charleston church, at the Emmanuel African Methodist Church.
Yeah.
And I really felt like you put yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
And then maybe like some of the burning lines were after Ferguson. And okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot about like activists and activism and like, I think I'm fine with like speaking. Like I think I'm an okay speaker, but I've always felt such a confidence in my ability to get an idea across through song or to like deal with my feelings in that way. And I think when the shooting at the church, in Charleston happened, racial events are actually something I visit a lot in my music. Like I talk about being a baby during the LA riots in another song. Like I have a song called I See America. Like it comes up a lot. And this song was sort of the first time that I sort of wanted to like paint a picture, especially as my background of like someone who was coming from the church and like coming out of, making religious music. Like I just wanted to paint a picture of like, we talk about God and all of these like lofty ideas, but like people who were made in God's image were murdered.
Yep.
And
at Bible study,
at
attending
Bible
study. Yeah.
And then what's hard to like swallow as a human is like afterwards the cops are taking the guy who did it out for like Burger King and like making sure he's okay. And people are dead. And I think for me, as a person, like watching those things occur, and then again, like watching society get frustrated and angry and it boil over, you feel helpless.
Yeah.
And I think that me writing this song was a way to say, if I can explain the tragedy of this moment, like the idea of a widow having to give an offering and people without money, or like people without resources having to explain why their pain is valid. I think if the only thing I can do is just point to it through music, then I'm going to do that so that people, one, have something to help them process the inequity, and two, people who maybe don't realize it's happening have information. I don't know.
When I listen to it, I feel like you're sitting there in the church pew with them, with your arm around, singing to the victims, and that you're humanizing it, right? Like, we hear about it on a news headline, but you just really gave it that human level, and that's what's so touching about it.
And that perspective as someone who comes from the church,
Yeah.
speaking to other people, do you believe in God? Is this what God wants you to do?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is this, if God was here, would God be okay with it? Like, that's a question I ask a lot. And I'm like, my ideas around faith obviously have changed over time, you know, but at the end of the day, if in your heart of hearts you believe that God exists, I can't imagine that you would believe in a God that would want separation or people to be ostracized or hurt. Like, I'm assuming God wants good, like, as the creator of good.
Yeah.
And I think I was just trying to be like, what we allow is sort of what we become. Like, I think the things that we sit and watch and don't talk about sort of end up destroying us eventually, I think.
Your themes that you touch on, like, what does he look like? What is your heaven like? I think about that all the time. And yeah, these things that keep happening, like, there's no way that God, whoever your God is going to be okay with all these things. And
Yeah.
For me, I really love Where Is Our Humanity? You know, I actually am curious, every breath we breathe is part of a tapestry. My first instinct was like, we're more alike than we're similar. Like, we're all a family, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you meant by that?
Yeah, like, I think that whole verse is like, one, I think I, in my music, tried to push the idea a little that, like, just in case heaven doesn't exist, you should probably try to live in love to your fullest now. And the idea that, like, every breath we breathe is, like, weaving into this, like, greater picture, not just for ourselves, but for others. I think it is something that I think about a lot, is, like, how does the air I carry, like, that I push in and out, how is it affecting this room? How is it affecting, you know, the people I travel with on tour, or my family, or my loved ones? And yeah, I think that the heart of that verse is just like, even if you don't want to be, we're all connected to each other just by the sake of sharing space.
Yep.
So how do we share space better?
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I love that question. What a great way of putting it.
And the song's still so prescient. And you wrote it 10 years ago.
I think that's why it hits today, too.
I
There's,
think
like,
that we're
so
still
much.
like, what do we do? What do we, and it's so, I think we all feel like it's so helpless right now as in another time.
Yeah.
Brene Brown put out something recently, was like microdosing hope.
Yeah. You got to take it little by little, because everything else feels like it comes in waves, like all the tragedy and stuff.
And then I just have to say the ending, like, is just you owing is gorgeous and feels like the release of all your thought that's gone into the song, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of...
And it feels spiritual.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's the goal with most of my music, is I want
Yeah.
it to have a spiritual component of just like, music is so intimate. Like, I just like, as an artist, I'm essentially asking someone to take my voice with them into their lives, you know, and into the best and the worst moments of their lives. I don't know. I try to imbue a sense of like care of, you know, I think on that record, there's another track where I wrote down like all these notes of like bits of advice for people who are going through heartbreak.
Oh, wow.
And I reversed it and I turned it into a synth that is like backing up the track. Like, it just like in my brain, the more purpose or intent that I can put into the art, hopefully that is like translated in the way people feel when they hear it, you know, of just like, I put my heart and, you know, whatever inspiration and magic and fairy dust I could find around me into it. And my hope is that people feel a sense of that when they listen.
I saw that you have done kind of these like porch talks. Is that what you call them, porch talks?
Oh,
I'm about to bring them back.
Oh, good.
In Nashville
Season
or
3?
All around, because I'm, it's not so much porch talk anymore. It's
Tour
bus
bus
lounge
talk?
talk, yeah. But same idea.
But one of them, you were kind of expressing sadness and exhaustion about being misunderstood. I think, why is that like every day? Is that funny?
That's crazy. It's hilarious, actually, because not much has changed.
Well, to your song creation, part of me wants to ask, what would you want people to understand about you if you could? And then maybe how do you put that into your art?
Yeah. I don't know if the relationship, the way that this is set up, the artist and the people who consume the art, I don't know if more of me can be understood in a way that feels healthy. Like, this is something that I've been processing a lot of. I give, as a songwriter, and not everybody's like this, but I think that you see this pattern in songwriters that put a lot of themselves in the music. That they go a little crazy. I don't know. They have these moments where they can't seem to reconcile the amount of giving of self that they have to do with what you get in return. And this is I'll use this as an example. Like, I wrote this song called Flowers. It honestly wasn't for me. I ended up, like, the person who I wrote it for didn't use it. And then my label was like, you should try it. And so I did, and I've been playing it on this tour that I'm on right now, and people have been bringing me flowers, which is, I like save one from each bouquet, and I've been like building a little dried flower bouquet.
Oh, that's lovely.
Because it's just like, it's genuinely so sweet and thoughtful, and like, based on how that relationship is built, people are doing exactly what you can and should understand to do. Is like, this person that has built this thing is saying that they don't feel like they're worthy of flowers. Let me help. Yesterday, a child gave me the flowers. I can't ask for a single thing more. I won't, because you spend your time, your money, your attention. I don't know that I can say, listen to my feelings even more. I think what gets lost, and I think that some artists sort of like in this generation are hitting on it a little bit more. It's everything that you have to lose to share the art. It's the hard conversations. It's the passive-aggressive comments by A&Rs who couldn't do what you do if they tried. Or hypothetically, it's like having to listen to a song that you wrote 10 years ago because the label that you were just at dropped you and doesn't have the wisdom or care to just give you permission to do this on a podcast.
Wait, hold on. Did you guys just drop?
Yes.
I had no idea. We had no idea.
Yeah.
We got to start a label. Come on, Joy. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is imagine being in a business where you, essentially a company says, hey, we're not going to work with you anymore. And then they email you a week later asking if you want to pay a few $1,000s to remix a song so they can make more money off of your back catalog.
Oh, my God.
What hurts is that this business is designed to use people like me. And I was on the phone with someone this morning, and I was like, I don't know that I'll ever heal from all the things that I've been through being in the music industry over the past 10 years.
We were going to ask you.
Yeah, what your experience has been.
Yeah, I love my job. That's why the question about the fan, I can't ask anything more from the people who listen to my music. One, because I really like them. Like, I'm on tour right now, and every night I just look around and be like, I would hang out with you people. When I'm singing my songs, I don't feel a disconnect between myself and like what I see, and obviously, like, numbers and demographics, like, those things can always change, but at the heart of it, you just feel a sense of goodness in the room that I don't always feel when I'm playing shows. And so I feel like that's a gift. I think what has been hard about this whole thing has been being in the music industry. And it's like I love the work and I hate everything that comes with it.
It's like the business of making money from the work.
Yeah.
Makes it icky.
Yeah.
It's the commerce. I don't think it's icky.
Okay.
Like, my grandma was a tomato farmer. So she would grow tomatoes and then she would bundle them up and then take them and sell them at the market in Nigeria, where my family's from. And growing vegetables was an art form to my grandma. Like, she cared, like, she understood the land. She knew what it meant to make a good product. she had a relationship with the market where like it was cool to see her sell stuff and to like watch that exchange happen, because it's just this communal thing of like someone made something with care and offered it to the community.
Right.
And I view my music very similarly. Like it's why I tend to like keep like smaller camps. Like I don't write with as many people, you know, and all this stuff, just because I want things to feel handcrafted a little bit. The less money we spend, the more there is. The less you spend, the more you can, like, you know, like I got to like donate to Knoxville for flood relief, you know, and like I got to do a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't get to do if I was spending money on super producers, you know?
Right.
The commerce of it honestly doesn't bother me, because I see my songs as tomatoes, or if I was a carpenter, like a little chair that I built that I'm selling and like giving to whoever needs a seat. But it's just the attitudes. I've met great people and like some of my favorite people, and I've met some heroes that are amazing. I have a tattoo. It's lyrics from one of my songs, actually. It says, "All my heroes are dead." And I got it because now all the people that I would consider heroes that are good people, I consider friends. And all the people that just ended up being not great people, I just try not to mythologize people in that same way. I think there's so much influence, there's so much money, there's so much creativity, and it's all being squandered because people want to be hot and popular. It's the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen in my entire, like, I think it's so fun that we're all in the music industry. I love being an adult member of the Glee Club, but it feels like high school in a sense of like maybe people who aren't fully comfortable or self-realized in themselves and what they bring to the world are trying to convince people to buy something that they're not sure what they're selling. And I don't have that problem, but I do run into the problems that that attitude creates all the time.
Yeah, and the commodification of art.
So funny how the metaphor or these roles from high school. It's so funny that you said that, because I felt like that at an event I was at this morning. I was like, oh, like they're the cool kids, and like I have no desire to present myself as something I'm not, you know? Plus that takes so much energy, and people can see right through it, and just all the stuff like I feel like you're kind of alluding to like the machinery of the major label system.
Yeah. I think we're all adults, and it's like if you're in a major label system, or if you're in the music industry, if you're a manager, if you're whatever, and you're working with an artist, that artist is not a bottle of water.
Right.
Like, you can't talk about them as if they're a hypothetical, or like, you know, like this person needs to go on tour for 6 months. This person needs to hang out. You need to do this with this person. Like, no. Like, if you're an artist, start thinking of your manager as the manager of a local Walgreens and not the CEO of your business. You're the CEO of your business. And your manager is like there to help you make sure that all the departments are working together.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I just think that it's an interesting business when you work with humans, but you treat the humans as if they're a product.
Right.
And I think when the music industry figures out a way to sort of smooth that out, I think we'll see a lot happier, healthier artists.
I'm just like picturing you pouring out your heart on these songs, and then someone just being like, nah, not a radio single or something. Is that like what I can imagine?
Well, imagine signing me thinking you're going to get a radio single. That's your fault. It's annoying and it's frustrating, because it's like, hypothetically, you write a song about how no one came to your 8th birthday party and it affects you still.
I would listen to that.
And
we all resonate.
You know, but the business says that like, like the person listening to this has to be thinking about if other people are going to listen to it, not just listening.
Yeah.
That is tough, but it's just like not, I feel like as an artist and as like a business person, I've been able to be successful without thinking too much about that. So I'm not going to start now. I feel like it might mess the vibe up.
Part of the reason we have a sad song podcast is I love a pop hit, whatever, but like we're always seeking out the emotional moment on the album, which is almost never marketed as the single. But it probably has the most heart, which you're like all heart. And what you're telling us now is like, that's what you do. And that's so awesome. I was also listening when we were listening to the track. I love how it just begins you and guitar. I think that's the roots of songwriting, and it's gorgeous.
It feels really honest. Yeah, it just, as we're like which songs we're picking and deciding. And yeah, I sometimes just like the more simplicity of open, I guess. And I guess the good thing about our side, thankfully, we don't have to go for the radio pop hit. And we love finding stuff. We love finding songs for sad moments. And we don't need the hit single. Like, we are definitely told what are their priorities, but often we go with what resonates with us too. And hopefully that works. So
I just genuinely think your job is so cool. I think like music supervisors, it's culture shaping. Like even like when I went to the Guild of Music Supervisors Award, they were honoring someone who had passed away.
Yes, Pilar McCurry.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like Pilar's impact on like late 90s, early 2000s soul music. Yeah. Like that's music that I came out of the womb listening to.
Yeah.
You know, and if Pilar doesn't take that chance to put it on a show, like it doesn't sort of have the momentum that it has. And I think that's what's so cool about your job is I think that the freedom that you have to go, we don't have to pick the pop hit. We just have to find what's going to tell the story the best.
Exactly.
It like changes lives. It's impactful. Like millions of people sit in their homes and they have this moment where they're watching a story, and a song that you picked, it helps the message hit home harder, you know, than it would have. Like it's happened to me all the time. I love movies.
Like, what have you been? I always love to hear, or like what was impactful to you, and
or like growing up, did you have a favorite movie or TV show for music?
Growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch TV Monday through Friday because my parents are Nigerian, so they're like, you should be rehearsing to become a doctor. Yes, so that worked out great.
That worked out awesome.
And on like the weekends, we could either rent a movie, or we could watch like hours and hours of like music video and concert footage that my dad had accumulated. So obviously, being young mathematicians, my sisters and I would go, let's watch the hours of concert footage because it's TV all day versus one movie.
Amazing.
And like I just remember I still am so inspired by like before shows I'll just put on like Stevie Wonder in Germany or something. Like I'll just find like old concert videos and just watch. I watched the Sly and the Family Stone documentary. That was really good.
Oh, cool.
Wicked has been really inspiring to me.
Yes.
Wait, throughout your life or like recently?
Honestly, throughout my life, but obviously this newest version, it just like, obviously the modernization of any musical is just going to give you gifts that you can't believe. But I think the intentionality behind with which they chose certain things in Wicked and like even like real effects, practical effects, like it's visually inspiring. The story is inspiring. Obviously, Cynthia Erivo. I don't know. It's been like since Avengers Endgame where you got like a cultural moment where everyone's like, that's a good movie. And I feel like Wicked sort of brought some of that back.
Just on kind of along the like growing up lines, what did you have a favorite album or anything that you used to listen to?
Paul Simon's Graceland influenced my adolescence more than I think people realize, because that was one of the concerts. It was Paul Simon in South Africa, and he brings out Winnie Mandela, and they're talking about like it's just like it's a whole thing. And I think I grew up being this little kid, being like every generation throws a hero up the pop charts. Like there's so many lyrics on that album that like they seem so simple and they pass by in a moment, but they really embedded in me the sort of importance of being able to write something that is catchy and also maybe says something. It's also why I really love Bill Withers. I only met him one time before he passed, and I just like, I felt like I was meeting a kindred spirit in the sense of like, I just feel like he liked songs and wanted to tell stories. And like would have taken or left like all the extra stuff, like the fame and the accolades, like, but really just like he has a song called I Can't Write Left-Handed, and
neither can I.
Exactly. And he tells a story on the Live with Carnegie Hall album where he met this young man who got shot in the Vietnam War, and he's like, the quips he makes, he's like, it makes sense, you know, that being shot at wouldn't shake you, but being shot would mess with you a little. And then he goes in to like play this song from the point of view of the soldier, saying like, I have to learn how to write with a hand I don't know how to write with.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
And it just
that puts
like,
it into words that you're
that's what I'm
so
saying.
Succinctly. Yeah.
And it's like you started with like just a title where you go like, oh, that's that's a common problem to have.
Right. And then it makes it...
And Bill Withers blows my mind with that stuff. I like Bob Marley. I also was really into rock music, so Black Sabbath, Genesis, Led Zeppelin. I don't know. I just like music. I think that there's a lot to glean from anything, and so
since you grew up religious, were you were able to listen to still all kinds of music? It wasn't
my
limited,
parents are cool as hell. Actually, they're religious. They believe in God. Even though my music deals a lot with the fear of the fallout of not believing. None of that ever came from my parents.
Oh, amazing.
They're we're gonna pray at night before bed as a family because that's something we do, but they never pressured me to believe in God. They never pressured me Bible college, beautiful. Anything I chose because I wanted to, not because my parents were pressuring me. And I think that is a cool gift. And I think that it also my mom, one of the most devout Christian women I know, also growing up, she worked at Planned Parenthood,
Oh, wow.
and she voted for marriage equality. That openness allowed me to have this foot in both worlds of or a dad who can recite every psalm, but also can give you a full rundown of Glenn Campbell's every move, or lyrically break down the Crosby, Stills, and Nash records. I think my parents find God in anything, and so as a kid, if they heard me listening to Led Zeppelin, they didn't see it as a threat to the possibility of my faith.
So you felt kind of in a lot of your songs, the church as the institution was the oppressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a Black queer person, in my brain, I was I make accommodations for white people shit all the time.
Of course. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I went into working at churches and even Bible college, knowing a lot of the things that I know about myself now, and hoping that there could be some grace or some leeway of if I was open about those things, that everybody could still be cool. Similar to how I grew up. I think that was how I was expecting to operate. It was just
the idea of both and,
yeah.
right? You can hold to...
That was not the case. But I don't think I think that's just some churches and some institutions.
Sure.
I don't think that everybody's there still. And I think it is pretty generational in the sense of I just feel a lot of people were put in confines by religion that they didn't need to be put in. And I think a lot of my music is dealing... Just shaking a lot of that off and being all that matters is love, doing it as best you can.
And you became a pastor?
Yeah.
And so were you already struggling, but you just were well, I'm doing this, so...
Well, no, again, I'm this is me, you know? I always was myself. I would try to talk about racial issues or justice in a way that's this is about our commonalities.
Right.
It's not about what separates us.
Was
it's
it in a predominantly white school? And
predominantly white school and churches. And I realized very quickly, me being there felt like a get out of jail free card for them. And that's sometimes the problem when organizations they want to elevate marginalized people, but they have no idea how to support them, how to let them be themselves, how to amplify them, and how to make sure that if you're putting them in this position that they can do it over the long term and not just be set up to fail. What happened with me at the church is I think this institution went oh, we have a Black sort of gay, we're not going to let them say that they're gay out loud person here. That means we're doing a good job. But in reality, it
was really performative.
Yeah, it's I can no longer be a mask for work that you're unwilling to do. Right. And I think that is part of many reasons why I quit.
Do you feel that within the music industry?
I do feel that way in the music industry.
Okay.
I actually think this is important. I think I got signed because George Floyd died.
No, really?
I think I'm talented. I think but it's not about my talent. I think that after that event happened in America, corporations specifically went, how can we support this type of messaging, these types of people? How can we sort of elevate music and art that inspires change? That is not profitable in the short run, not the long run. I think when I die, we'll all be blown away by what I accomplished. I think that in a country where after a kid gets caught saying the N-word, people double down and buy his record because they think he's going to lose everything. You just have to work harder to make my message come across. And that is not something that people were willing to do. It is not down to my music. It's not down to like a lack that I have, you know. I don't make pop hits or pop bangers, and I don't need to go number one. I think I was brought into this moment of my career because I think a company was trying to do something different. And I think that I'm one of a lot of artists like me who now, 5 years later, are left with less of that support than you would think, you know. I think there are some companies, like I'm such a YouTube stan because like YouTube did this incredible Black Creators Fund like right around that time. And they still just like, I see it all the time. Like I see them like invest and like engage and like, you know, sort of care about the people that they set up, you know, to do these things. But not everybody has the time, not everybody has the resources or the desire to like really like
do the work and
So I guess like in that reflection, I mean, it seems like everybody was trying to do the right thing, but they've lost steam and it's less interesting 4 to 5 years later.
Yeah.
But was it right to do it in the first place then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was wrong. I don't even think it's wrong to let it go.
Right.
You know, or to say that maybe something has run its course. I think there's an incredible cowardice that like runs through the music industry where like it's just about artists in general now. You'll take these kids out when you first want to sign them, when you first want to fucking make money off their intellectual property. You'll take them out to steak dinners or to Topgolf or whatever it is you do for fun, and you'll pay for everything and you'll tell them you believe in them and you'll say like you're going to do this, you're going to accomplish this. And then again, a few years later that doesn't happen. You decide maybe this isn't the right partnership. You're not brave enough to come with that same passion and come to that artist face to face and say, we need to do something different. You call or email their manager in the dark and then never talk to them again.
Right. Like treat you as a human.
Until and that's the issue is like, that's where the commodification becomes a problem. It's like, I'm signing up for for the market.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, I have no illusions about what this is or isn't.
Even just like a phone call of, hey, we love what you've done. We're going to go another. Yeah.
When you started, it was a partnership. We talked to each other. We decided we were going to collaborate
Don't
in
ghost
this way.
me.
Yeah. And I think that is the thing that is wrong, especially around like things that are sensitive. I'm not a dude rock, you know, act, you know.
That's not what the next album's going to be?
It's actually, maybe. It's not what the next album's going to be. What I do means a lot to me.
Yeah, and that comes through in the songs very much.
Yeah,
so.
it's just all so personal. And so when maybe hypothetically when I'm sign a deal or something, I understand that like I'm giving over parts of my life story and life to these people. And I think the very least that you could do when you don't want to be a part of that anymore is call.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that you released a new song called
I did.
All My Time.
Yeah.
And you said it's the beginning of a new era. Now, getting into this conversation. So I'm assuming this is your, owned release.
Yeah, is this owned by?
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm indie now. I am starting a small little label thing called Endless Records. It's secretly named after one of my favorite moments in music history, recent music history, where Frank Ocean released like an album of like loops, basically called Endless, and then as his last album under his deal, and then the next he released on Saturday Morning, he released Blonde as an independent artist, and like then we never heard from him again. And I think obviously like when all these changes in my career started happening, I think at every turn, instead of like maybe using the sadness as a thing to sort of like wallow in, I sort of use it as a tool for whether it's creativity or for, I don't know, just finding my path forward. And I think like, there's this weird grief of like getting dropped and then having to get on the bus and like start touring. And I felt lucky in a sense of like, not everybody could have done that. People sometimes rely on labels to help them tour.
Right.
Sure.
I wasn't in a 360 deal because I don't like that concept. So tour was always its own sort of self-sustaining business.
That's awesome.
And so I got on the bus and I was like, I'm independent. I'm a little sad. And I just started hanging out with the band and just staying up late and watching anime and playing video games and I just getting inspired. Everybody has all these little instruments. And then one day we were in one of the dressing rooms and I started playing the beginning riff of this song. And Alvin, our keyboard player, who is just so goofy, I'm just playing it. And he goes, that's next, that's next, that's next. And he's dancing around to it. And I literally am just bullshitting lyrics. And then I get on the bus after the show. I can't remember where we were. I think it was Detroit. And I just recorded it. I brought my saxophone and a couple guitars and just other stuff and just recorded it in the back lounge. And I think it's been such a long time since I felt the permission to just create something and put it out.
Great.
I've had to convince people that it's worth existing. And I think at least for this season, I'm doing this holiday thing this year where I'm going to release a surprise song on a holiday every month for the rest of the year.
Amazing.
And all my time came out on daylight savings time when the clocks turned.
Oh.
Except they don't give us a day off of work for that,
I know.
unfortunately. I think we all need
So
it.
is there going to be something for Arbor Day?
Arbor Day.
Yeah. That sounds so awesome that you're putting these kind of new feelings and this freedom into songs and doing it your own way. We often talk about times when you're struggling, what do you do? Do you songwrite? Are there other things you do to stay grounded or get through hard times?
I do headstands in the back of the bus.
Really?
Wow.
That's impressive.
Something I cannot do.
No, I've
It's
never
easier
been
than
able
you think.
to.
If I can do it, you can do it. That's the name of my memoir. Actually,
There you
if I can
go.
do it, you can do it. I have a really great therapist, and there are a few moments in life or in my job now that I need to sort of regulate, and that's after a show, or say I have to play a show and I'm an introvert and people are making me panic and I just have to find a way to regulate my body. We found that just inverting headstands, handstands has been really helpful. Ice has been really helpful.
Cryotherapy or just sitting in
a thing cryotherapy, cold plunge. I have a cold plunge at the house.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, you do a ice bath before the show?
I would love to. Maybe I'll bring an inflatable ice bath. No, but I should. I usually just when I'm home, I'll ice bath before I work, and then on the road, I'll just grab a big bowl, have them fill it with ice, and if it's a good day, we're just dunking the hands.
Right, yeah.
If it's been a tough day, the face goes in the bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good for your skin, I've heard, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
I go on walks. I try to find coffee shops. I have a cassette player.
You do?
So
I love that.
my little 1-2 is go find coffee and then go find a music store so I can buy
I was
a
going
couple
to say,
cassettes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And can you find them?
Yeah, apparently they're coming back.
That's what I
Well,
heard. But
yeah,
then,
because a couple labels have sent some, and I remember my nieces were like, "What is that?"
Just a
how do I
toy.
play this?
Yeah, because I'm
Yes.
I can't even play it for you, but yeah.
Does it have a QR code?
I know.
So let's talk about some of your favorite sad songs. What do you got for us?
Okay,
I know.
let's go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start contemporary, and then we're gonna move back.
Sure.
One of my current favorites is one of the new Bon Iver songs, Speyside.
Yeah.
Here's why it's devastating. He basically, it starts out, and it's just vocals and guitars, and he's saying now I know that I can't make good like I thought I could, basically, and that he wishes he could go back and put himself where we are, watching him play music.
Wow.
Justin, your mind. I don't really get in loops with sad music as much. I when Pink Pony Club came out, I wore that song into the ground. But I don't like to wallow in the sadness too much because I can get unproductive. But I listened to that Bon Iver song. I think I listened to it for maybe 2 days straight.
Wow.
I didn't listen to anything else. There's just a bunch of beautiful lines, it serves to suffer, put a hole in my foot, and I hope you look. And you can just hear him wrestling with the sort of, you know, I don't know, snake eating its own tail that is creating... that is creating, like, that is being an artist that makes, like, sad music, you know? Like, it is the only value I have to suffer is basically what he's asking. And it is so...
Do you find you're more of a lyric person or it's the whole package?
Case-by-case basis?
Yeah,
I think it's a case-by-case. I think maybe a year ago I would have been like, yes, I'm a lyric person. The more I realize that on occasion I need to escape my own brain, the more I go, I don't like nonsense. That it sounded so old and crotchety. I don't like when the kids are singing nonsense.
Right, that's nonsense.
I like when it has a little meaning.
And that I can understand them.
Yeah, I got to understand what they're saying. But it doesn't have to be like some like deep feeling thing to be impactful to me anymore. I think it just needs to be good.
Yeah.
And good to, like, subjective.
Yeah, and that resonates with you. That you like, that's where, like, when we're like picking what song, we're like, I have to feel it. Like, it hooked me. Yeah. And that can be like, this one can be also like they poured their heart out, but you're like, this one I responded to. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what Sabrina Carpenter put in Short and Sweet, but I can't even relate. I'm not a straight woman. I don't understand. I can't put myself in her shoes if I tried, but still I ran that record down. Like, and I think it's just well crafted. It's beautiful songs.
Do you have a favorite on that album?
It's called Lie to Girls, I think.
Is it kind of a ballad?
To lie to girls, because if they like you, they'll just lie to themselves.
It's a good one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's good. It's good.
You're like, Sabribri, let's do some writing.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be a great collaboration.
And what are some other songs?
Will Anybody Ever Love Me by Sufjan Stevens. I don't know that I have to go too deep into why that's devastating.
His performance, the lyric, everything about him.
Yeah. Will Anybody Ever Love Me Without Grievance, Not for Sport is one of the lyrics. One of my favorite, and I'm sure someone has brought this up on the pod before.
On the pod.
But I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah. I mean, both of those. Yeah. Just the title alone. You're like,
I know.
Blues Run the Game, the Jackson C. Frank version. It seems like he wrote it from the perspective of being a touring musician and realizing that people are the same kind of sad everywhere. And I really, really, I like that. Am I gonna do Crucify Your Mind by Rodriguez? Yeah. Rodriguez, he has a few songs about like just being working class, and like one of the lines is, how many days in a row can you wake up in this comic book and plant flowers? And like that type of music where it's like not just like sad, like I'm sad because my woman left, or I'm sad because someone won't love me back, but the type of music where you're like, life is a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Those are the type of sad songs that I tend to like.
And what is this all for?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Right.
Like, what is the point?
They're all existential. Like, that's the existential sadness, and then the being loved sadness. I mean, but they're so both universal.
Did you know Rodriguez's music before the documentary or after?
After.
Me too.
Yeah. I fantasize about running away all the time. So it's really cool to like see people who...
And that people find it.
Yeah.
When sometimes us as supervisors do these panels and stuff, we're like, I know it sounds trite, but like we do find them. Like I have songs from 10 years ago that I'm still trying to find a place for. So it's like, it kind of gives you hope of like, through our job, other people, like just audiences find just the good work out there, hopefully, like, and to, sing the truth and your emotions. And
one of my dad's favorite facts is that Lean On Me didn't go #1 until like 10 years after Bill Withers wrote it. And I just like, that is the music business I'm in, where I'm like, I have a house and people I love and bills to pay, and that's all I'm trying to do. I really am not trying to impress children on TikTok.
Are you on social media, or do you get off?
I am. I'm pretty like, I don't want people talking to me.
You're
You just want to consume it. Yeah.
I don't want people to think that they're gonna get a huge back and forth. But I do. I'm pretty active online, and I run my socials aside from sometimes.
To me, I'm still not over that there's a right time versus a wrong time.
I know.
Do you remember when you first got Instagram and you're just looking at pictures of your friends' bowls of cereal?
Yeah.
Take me back.
Right.
I miss a little of and part of that is my job, right? Is people need to know that I'm going to be in Schenectady next week or whatever.
Right.
But I miss a little just being able to scroll and goof off. But honestly, a lot of my album titles, the cover for my last album, some of the samples I find, all of that has come while just scrolling.
Really?
Smoking weed and scrolling social media.
Who did your, I really like the Proof of Life album artwork. Who did that?
Mackenzie Moore did it. She worked with Casey Musgraves on Golden Hour.
Okay.
I saw her art. And
I
was
loved it.
I don't know.
Because it kind of looks Kahinde Wiley.
Yeah.
But I was and I even Googled it and I couldn't find it.
I put a bunch of references together of portraits that I wanted for Proof of Life. And the Kahinde Wiley, of Barack Obama, I think was one of
Totally.
Yeah.
You've been to the White House. Did you meet Barack?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. I met Joe and Jill.
Okay, yeah.
And Kamala?
And I
Was
smoked
Kamala?
weed in Joe's dressing room.
You
I
did
can say
not.
that now.
Oh.
You're out, buddy.
I feel
The question
he'd
is,
be
was
fine
Joe
with it.
present
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah.
You don't have to answer that
No.
question.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Was Kamala there? And Doug?
Oh yeah, I did
They
meet
were-
Kamala
okay.
and Doug.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was for when they thank God codified gay marriage into federal law. I went and sang on the White House lawn.
Do you have those moments where you're like, if you told 5-year-old myself, what? Yeah, that
It's
must
so-
be one of those.
It's so crazy. There are not a lot of reasons I would have said yes to going to the White House. I've always had a very outspoken relationship with our country and how it handles itself,
Yeah.
even before our current administration. And I think the thing that felt most significant to me that day, it feels amazing to be here for something that I 100% believe
Yeah.
in. You see all these queer couples, a couple people got married, you just see the joy and the hope and you see your politicians making an effort to protect something that you know is important to people.
Right.
And it's just one of the coolest days.
Would you sing I See America or?
I sang Sunday, which is a song I wrote
of
about
course.
being gay. You get it. And then I sang something else. I can't remember. I was so distracted because afterwards Cyndi Lauper hugged me. How do you breathe?
No.
How do you live?
No.
Did you just break out into true colors?
I almost did.
In your head.
It was just such a good day.
Aw.
It was such a good day.
Thank you, Joy, for being here. This was so
Thanks for
fun.
having me.
And we're so excited for your new independent path.
This
So-
new chapter will be awesome.
I think it's going to be fun.
Thank you for joining us today on Sad Song Queens, because you always need a good cry. We will link these songs on our show page, and be sure to check out our Spotify playlist with all the songs mentioned.
Huge thanks to our friends at Prescription Music and Well Records. Thank you to the Songwriting School of Los Angeles for letting us record live in their studio. Special production thanks to Rob Seals, Stephanie Gangle, Wyatt Rouse, and our producer, Emily Cartham. Our theme song is All My Favorite Songs by Weezer, and our outro music is by Wyatt Rouse. Hi, it's Lindsay from the Sad Song Queens podcast. You may have heard us allude to Rob or thank Rob Seals and the Songwriting School of Los Angeles at the end of our podcast. He has been so kind to let us record in his studio, and the Songwriting School is an awesome place. If you want to learn how to songwrite, record, or even information how to release or sync your song, there's a class for that.
The Songwriting School of Los Angeles is devoted to the artistry and industry of songs. To learn more, go to thesongwritingschool.com, where you can learn more or enroll in classes.